Hey everyone, welcome to my arm balance series. So we're going to go over a few different arm balances over the next few videos. These are just short sessions that you can do after maybe a longer flow before or a warm-up flow. Make sure you do something to warm yourselves up. We will warm our wrists up a little bit in the core, but also make sure you've not just got out of bed or whatever when you do these, okay? So to start off, we'll do crow, but we need to think about your wrists. So just put your wrists how you would do in plank, and then start to lift your palms off the floor, lower them down, bring them back up and back down. And just taking a bit of weight in your fingers as you do that, lifting the palms, bringing them back down a few times. Good, point the fingers away from each other and then move from side to side, just moving your weight over one wrist and back over the other. And then point your fingers towards your knees and we'll move back and forwards here. If there's too much weight in your wrists now, just move your knees a little closer and then you can start to move forwards and back. Good, now plank hands again. Think about doing some cat-cows here. So looking up, dropping the chest, shrugging the shoulders back, tilting the hips away. Then looking down, reverse that, so drive the chest through the back, tilt the hips towards the forehead. Good, back up and down. Good, 3 more, super slow. Think about the shoulders here. And back down. Last one up. And back down. Good. Okay, let's come to a squat now. So just sit down in a deep as squat as you're comfortable with, and then start moving your weight from side to side, making sure that you're sending the knees away from you. Good. Start to get heavier on the heels. Checking in with your knees, your ankles, hips, everything here. Okay, back to all fours now, but keep your toes tucked under your heels, and we'll do some cat-cows. We're going to exaggerate that movement a little bit. So look up, tilt your hips away, keep your toes tucked, and then as you look back, lift your knees up, back into like a weird dog. Looking up, lift your knees up. Good. 3 more of them. Knees in. Good. 2. And again. And reverse. Nice. Okay, now think about your weight in your arms. So I want you to lower your front down to the mat, but I want you to try and keep your forearms nice and straight up from the floor. And I'm going to hinge at the elbows as my front comes down. My shoulders are coming down in front of me. So down. Good. Then try and bring yourself back up. Back down. Just do 3 more. Last one up. Last one down. Good. From here, bring your hands forward slightly and just lift the chest using the muscles in the back. Maybe a slight push on the mat. Couple of breaths here. Good. Lower. Let's inhale, lift. And lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And lower. Last one up. And lower. Good. Bring yourself back to all fours now. Sit back onto your heels and we'll focus on crow. If you've not done any of my crow instructionals before or any of Sebastian's, just think about plank hands and then my knees are going to go just above my elbows on my triceps, okay? They're not going on the point of my elbow here, and it's just too hassly when you get there. And try and think about heels to bum when you come up to crow, and think about where your weight is and using the ends of your fingers as brakes. Okay, so as my weight comes forward in a second, I'm going to push my fingers down into the mat to bring my weight back. So this first one, we're not going for hang time, we're going for understanding. So let's sit back into a squat now. Hands in plank, maybe a little wider to begin with. Index fingers parallel. You can turn the hands out a little more, but start with parallel index fingers and see how you go. And then lift your hips up, and I'm going to do a slight bend in my elbows, okay? Just so that I can bring my knees just above my elbows in my triceps. Then I'm going to come forwards, lift my heels lightly, use the ends of my fingers to push me back. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We can do that 3 more times. Not going for hang time again, just so that we get the understanding of pushing back. So let's come back up, lift the hips, bend in the elbows, bend the knees, slot them in, point the toes, lift the hips, push yourself back. Good. Let's go a bit quicker now. Back up, bend, bend, forwards and back. Okay, one more. Let's go up, bend, knees go in the same place, lift the heels, push yourself back. Good, and that is all you need to do to start with to rep out crow. If you're going up straight away to begin with, to hang, and you're just falling, that's fine, but try and do it to get the understanding so you're getting that balance of going forwards, and then you can start to think about holding yourself there. Okay, so it's not just this like chill, passive thing. You want to be active where you are, you want to be engaging the core, sucking everything in. So I'm not just everything's resting when I do this. I'm thinking about lifting up like this, in, and then you come forwards, push yourself back. Okay, so it's finding everything active. Again, my forearms are also pulling the mat up like there's a ball under my hands and I'm picking it up. All right, so think about that. Think about what your wrists are doing. You don't want too much weight over your fingertips because it's going to hurt your wrists, and you want to be gripping that mat, strong up here, bent arm, knee in strong there. And then everything up here is sucking up, okay? Nice and strong. And again, shoulders are engaged too. My shoulders aren't just chill. I'm thinking nice and strong, engaged, everything. And that's gonna hold you there, all right? So let's come back to that squat. Lift the hips, bend the elbows, bend the knees. This time, think about sending your weight forwards until your weight comes off your feet. Lift them up and then back down. Okay, if you're coming up and you're doing this and pushing yourself back, that's fine. All right, you're learning the pose and you're learning to get time in. Okay, so let's come back up. This time, get to that point where your feet just start to lift. Okay, where you feel weightless in the feet. Now bring them up super slow, then push yourself back. So that is going to feel much harder because you've got a counterweight hanging this side. It's the same as if my head was diving forwards this side, it will pull me over more. Same with my feet. So it's like when you see a plane take off, they tuck the landing gear up, yeah? If you don't tuck your landing or taking off gear up like quickly, or you know, the longer you take to do it, the more work it is because the more is pulling you this way. So as I come up, as soon as I feel my weight going, I bring my heels to my bum and point my toes instead of back here because it's pulling me back. So bring them up and you can balance much more. So think about that when you go into the pose as well. So that's this end. What you want to think about this end is a lot of us in jiu-jitsu are used to rolls and rolling over our head sometimes as well. But you don't want to be thinking, if I go too far forwards, I'm going to roll, because you'll already be tucking your head and that's sending you that way too. So if you're really struggling, you can get like a pillow or a yoga block for your forehead here, just in case. But don't think of going forwards. You've got these brakes here to stop you going forwards. What you don't have back here is anything stopping you. So that's when you go back and you drop your landing gear again. Same way as if I stand up, if I come forwards, my toes stop me, but if I go back, it's like I've got my heels here. You don't really have that advantage as much with your hands. It's kind of go back, so just drop your feet. All right? So let's try that again with a bit more understanding of really pulling the heels up towards the bum and not leaving anything hanging back. All right, we're going to do 3. So let's go up. So lift your hips, bend your arms, bend the knees a bit more, slot the knees on top of the triceps. Let's go forwards, lift the landing gear, heels to bum, heels to bum, heels to bum. Good. Push your fingertips down to the mat and back. Okay, let's go one more time. Lift the hips, bend the knees, bend the arms, forwards, lift the landing gear. You don't need it yet, hopefully. Good, push the fingertips and down. And try and get to the point where you're pushing yourself out of it, because that's going to build up strength in your forearms, which is going to help kind of stabilize you in these arm balances. Okay, let's go one more. Hips up, bend, bend, and forwards. Lift the landing gear, hips to bum. Good, if you need to go back, push back. If not, hold here. And again, my head, I'm looking just down in front of me. I'm not dipping my head like that, because that's going to initiate a roll. Good, let's come down. Sit on your heels for a second. Just warm the wrists up or move the wrists round. And if you're chasing crow or chasing time in crow, nothing is going to improve that more than just coming forwards into it and then back. All right, forwards into it and back. So if you're super burnt out, you've cooked everything, holding there, again, you've still got a bit in the tank. So just see if you can just come up and back down, up and back down. And that is going to help you get more time in the pose and kind of learn what's going on there. Okay, let's come back up. Good, so we're going to do 3 more, maybe hold for a bit longer. I'm going to go for a breath, so nice slow inhale, nice slow exhale. Then at the bottom of the exhale, my fingertips are going to push me out of the pose. I'm not going to fall out of it. So see if you can join me there. If you need to come out of it before that, again, just use those brakes, drop the landing gear and come down. So lift the hips, bend the elbows, knees, let's go. So let everything out. Okay, let's come up, lift the landing gear. Inhale. Exhale. And come down. Good, take a breath here. Let's go again. So lifting up, knees to triceps, leaning forwards, lift the landing gear, take an inhale, take an exhale, slowly let the landing gear come out. Good, take a breath here. Lift the hips, last one here. See how you do before you have to come out. So let's come forwards, take a breath. Point the toes, heels to bum. Maybe take another breath. Okay, pushing on those fingertips, lower the feet. Come down. Good, keep your feet out in front of you. Lay yourself down on your back. And just lift your hips from here. Hands out by your sides, palms facing up, just lift your hips up. Good, take a couple of breaths here. Okay, drop the hips. So drop your knees to the left hand side. Lift them back up. Drop your knees to the right hand side. Lift them back up. Okay, let's go left. Back up again. And right. And just go from side to side a few times. Meet me back in the middle with your knees pointing up. Lift the hips one more time. And take 2 breaths here. Good. Drop the hips down. Let's come back up. Okay, thanks for joining me. I'm going to do more of these. Let me know if you've got any questions in the pose or leading up to the pose or anything like that, and we'll go over that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.